sure about that?
All right, welcome back to another episode, guys. Thank you. Stop. Put your dress down. Put your dress down. Put your dress down. All right, cool. All right, guys. Thank you guys for another episode. This is your boys here at the Truth Media Podcast. This is Q Fusion Reacts and my co-host.
Yeah. Double A Heaven in the building was good.
Nuh-uh. So so yes, guys, we're here for another episode. Next week is Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, memorize these
So,
nuts.
yo, oh my,
Oh my god!
so
Oh my god! Oh, I'm in the dark. I ain't paid the bills. I ain't
we,
even paid a light
yeah. So while my co-host gets
bill.
that all settled and set, um, yeah, we guys, you guys be safe for Memorial Day weekend. If we don't get a chance to see you guys before then, we want to make sure you guys have the safe travels and get to where your destinations are with no problems whatsoever. As you know, that traffic is a bitch during the holidays.
Mhm.
So yeah, guys. So a lot has been going on. I mean, what we've been trying to do we have as we spoke about before with our podcast, we want to make sure we have a network overseeing the podcast, and what we want to be able to do is cover all different types of topics from all different types of spheres. And one of those spheres, because as you guys may know, that we love to cover is the sports sphere, right? Me and my co-host Double A have are huge basketball fanatics, so we definitely wanted to chime in on what's been going on with the playoffs. We did an episode recently about the current stage of the playoffs. I believe this was with regards to the second round, and now that the NBA playoffs are starting to wane and they're getting to the final stages, the finals. It looks like we have one team that cemented its place, the Denver Nuggets, much to my chagrin. My Lakers are out. And also, we have some other topics that have been sort of reigning in the NBA airwaves. We saw a cryptic tweet from John Morant, as well as LeBron James's subtle hint at what he might be looking to do come the off season. And also, we got the Boston Celtics forcing Game Five. So there's just a whole lot going on in the NBA right now at the moment. I mean, if you guys know, the playoffs and the offseason are really more of the biggest parts of the NBA. I guess you would say round robin of Newsphere. So we wanted to make sure we covered it here for you guys first. So what we want to do is touch base on sort of what's going on in the playoffs right now. I mean, the Nuggets are in the finals for the first time ever. I guess what were your thoughts on that series and their first berth to the finals?
Well,
Yeah,
I think that this series, I didn't see it going out that way. I definitely didn't see the Lakers getting swept. First and foremost, I don't think many people saw the sweep coming. I think that it was a series that probably could have, maybe should have won 7 games. And even if it had gone 7 games and the Nuggets won, I'll be okay with that. I don't. I'm not okay with the sweep. I think that the Lakers the Lakers coaching staff left a lot to be desired. I think that certain players on that team show that they can't be counted on in big moments. I think that Anthony Davis, we need to go back and reevaluate him. Obviously, we know what he did in the past. But if I'm going to quote Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? So
yeah.
AD, we have to reevaluate that. I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm just saying, from that perspective. Um, what else? Hey, big ups to Jokic. He did his thing. As Shaq would say, he did what he was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Then he got a lot of help from his role players. And when I watch the Nuggets play and I watch their role players, I see championship DNA in them. They do the prerequisites and let the big boys handle the rest. You have a Bruce Brown out there grinding, getting down and dirty to get his and get what's needed for the team. You got a Michael Porter Jr. out there that's just like a spark. Then you got an Aaron Gordon that's shown, hey, you know what? Even when the game plan is against me, I'm still going to come out and step up and hit big shots time and time again in the closeout game. Something needs to be said about that. So I don't want to poo poo or marginalize any of the contributions from those players. But ultimately, I do think that fell short. I think the Lakers lost that series more so than the Nuggets won. And again, I'm not trying to marginalize what they accomplished.
Yeah, I want to give the first things first. As a Lakers fan, I still want to give my kudos to the Lakers for a hard fought season. There was a ton of ups and downs. There was a lot of turmoil that existed throughout the course of the season, and for us to be able to get, and I say us because I was there in the locker room when everything was said and done.
Hmm.
It lent one to believe this is sort of I think Steve Kerr said it best about where the Warriors. I think they maxed out based upon, as my co-host mentioned, what guys showed during key moments of the games. Because if they're going to perform like this now, I mean, God only knows what they're going to do in the finals, right? So I believe that these guys, maxed out. The guys that that left a lot on the table, essentially, this is who they are. And I think that when it comes to reevaluation for a lot of these guys, I'd be hard pressed to see a lot of them in wearing the Lakers uniform going forward. All right, that's a note to you, Rob Pelinka. So, yeah, and also I want to give more credence to the Nuggets. I found myself in that sort of media bubble, with First Take and Undisputed and all these and First Things First. I watch a lot of these different shows, and then I know they say that LeBron is the bigger story. I mean, obviously, he's the notable figure in the league, but I think we do need to make sure that we do due diligence and ensure that we talk about the small market teams like the Nuggets, who did a great job. I mean, the ability to get Jamal Murray from that Carmelo Anthony trade, and they got him lower on the lower end of the spectrum of that draft of 2016, if I remember correctly. Sorry, 2017. Um, based upon a conditional swap, it's nice to be able to see. While I don't like it being at the the detriment of my Lakers, I think it's really cool to be able to see a team that's busting on all ends, no homo, getting or excuse me, pause, getting to the finish line. So I am happy for the Nuggets because, like I said, if you're gonna win like that, where what I'm saying, you're executing, you're doing the little things that you're supposed to be doing, you're busting your butts for all loose balls, and you're ensuring that you're not leaving anything on the table. They pay you to be shot makers, you make your shots, right? We can't say that for the Lakers. Um, so yeah, and then I guess so when it comes to that, I think it's really ironclad, with that series. I think moving forward, I think we'll talk about this hopefully throughout the course of this conversation. Where do the Lakers sort of go from here? But as far as the Nuggets doing their damn thing, congratulations, and I think it will be an interesting series. So moving along, because there is still one more series that has not reached conclusion, and it is the Boston Celtics versus the Miami Heat. Game four just completed as of yesterday, I believe, where the Celtics were able to have a deciding victory over the Heat and be able to stretch out the series. What were your thoughts about last night's game?
My thoughts are that although the Heat lost, they're still, in prime position to win this series.
Mhm.
Even though they have to go back to Boston for the next game. Jason Tatum showed a lot. But well, actually, he showed what we all know to be within him. And for Jason Tatum, if I was speaking to Jason Tatum right now, I would say, "Hey, man, like you're a great talent, but you have to like there's I'm sure you already know, but there's like great expectations on your shoulders. You have to be able to get the job done. It's not like You're Paul Pierce on the Celtics, and you're going against a freaking young stud LeBron James. You're going against Jimmy Butler and the Cosby kids, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
And not to marginalize these brothers
Oh
either.
my God!
They are balling. They're balling. But I could tell you this: you don't want to be the guy, even though it's looking like it. You don't want to be the guy to lose to Jimmy Butler and the Cosby kids, man. You know what I'm saying? Because then again, we're gonna have to reevaluate you, just like we're gonna be reevaluating D'Angelo Russell and Anthony Davis. You know, there's no way around it. The fourth quarter scoring has been an issue, or actually the lack thereof has been an issue.
hmm
You know, just not having it. You know, I think it was about 2019. No, because they lost that year. No, LeBron was in Cleveland. 2018? I think it was 2018. It was the Eastern Conference Finals. Yeah, LeBron's last year in Cleveland. I'm pretty sure it might have been 2018. 19, correct me if I'm wrong.
hmm
It was when basically you had almost the same Celtics team. You had Jalen Brown, Jason Tatum. You had Marcus Smart. I don't think Al Horford was there yet. I think he was still in Philly. And they had Terry Rozier because that's the year that he left. And I'm pretty sure Gordon Hayward was on the team. I'm not sure if he was actually playing or not. But I digress. In that series, Jason Tatum dunked the ball on LeBron. A
hmm
young JT yammed it on LeBron. I mean, maybe not like yam, but like he dunked it on LeBron. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm here and I'm coming kind of a thing. But it's crickets since then. Crickets. I don't see that same intensity from him when they need it. Where is that? Where's the
Mm.
JT that dunking on LeBron James? And that's LeBron James a couple years ago when he still has some lift, he still has some bounce. LeBron
hmm
has been to several finals since then and won a final since then. And so Jason Tatum, hey man, it is what it is. We're gonna be looking at you. I'm pretty sure that you're the media darling, so you don't have anything to worry about when it comes to job security. You're gonna have a job. You're probably gonna stay in Boston until you want to retire. But do you want to be a Damian Lillard or do you want to be a Kobe Bryant? Do you want to
Mm.
be a LeBron James? Because you
Mm.
have the size, the skill set, all the intangibles to do so. But you're looking like Anthony Davis out here, so that's where I'm at.
Yeah, you know what? But I would say this about Jason Tatum. I would say that my biggest gripe against him is it's not even just more so on offense. It's like what I see from him is because you're wearing the Kobe, the Kobe style band, on the forearm, and what I don't see because I was watching that sorry, I was watching before the game, started to really expand, and I'm looking at matchups, and I know the NBA does this thing where they switch everything right now 1 through 5. But I really I want to see like how the Aaron Gordon, what I'm saying, was able to D up LeBron towards the end of that game. I want to see more clips of Jimmy Butler. If Jimmy Butler's scoring, if you're supposed to be that guy that's making all this money, I mean, you have the dimensions to be able to stay in front of Jimmy Butler. I want to see more of you because again, if we're talking about you getting that super max as you qualified, you got your All NBA distinction. This is where that money is to be earned, right? When they start
Yeah.
looking back at it. So I want to start seeing more because I mean I know Jalen Brown has it in him. That's not something I've ever questioned. But
Nope.
for Jason Tatum, I sometimes I don't really. Again, he likes to akin himself to Kobe Bryant, but I know Kobe Bryant is playing both sides, no matter how much of the spelling it's going to do for him in the long term. So
Yeah.
that's
Right.
something I want to be able to see in these next couple of games because I'll give you this.
Well, not only that, Kobe wanted it. Kobe was
Yeah,
like, "No, I'm
yeah,
a D
yeah,
LeBron.
yeah. He
I'm a
wanted the
D
best player.
Melo.
He
I'm a
wanted
D
the best
him."
player. Yeah, he
Yeah.
wanted the best player, and I
Jason
want to see
Tatum is
more
out
of
here
that.
like, let
Oh,
Marcus get him.
switch. No, it's like, oh, switch. Okay, yeah, let's just switch. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
to me,
Kobe was like, "Fuck
I
that.
hate that. Yeah, I
Fuck
hate that.
that."
Like, and if anything, if you switch, it's like you get back as soon as you can in the
Yeah.
rotation.
They don't
That's
even they don't even try to not switch. They're like,
yeah,
"Oh,
that's such an
hey, it's coming."
it's such an NBA thing. The only time they really don't switch is like the last 5 seconds because that's like a cardinal sin for
Yeah.
late game strategy. But I mean, outside of that, I'm not really a big fan of, especially guys that are known to be nuclear and go off, you definitely want to make sure the guys that need to be guarding them um,
Yeah.
are guarding them. So
You know what's a
that's
stat
what I
line
want to see.
that you hear a lot from these mediators, whether it's a Jen Hale on Undisputed or Molly Karam on First Take, is that such and such scored this many points off this percent shooting and this many attempts while such and such was guarding him. It's like,
Yeah,
well,
yeah,
when did that become the days where it's like, okay, we got to break it down like that, as opposed to no, the player that you thought should have been guarding him all game was guarding him all game, and that's what he did.
yeah, and that's where I'm even curious how long, because obviously the metric is grading it by something, right? Like how it's probably either how many dribbles, how long possession time was,
Uh-huh.
so there's probably like a minimum time marker that they had to hit for them to qualify to say, oh, he was really guarding him. Because
Yeah,
that's always my first thought. Because that's a good point you bring up. That's always my first thought is like, how are you quantifying that? Because if they're constantly switching, and then
yeah,
he just so happens to get the later end of the switch, and then he
yeah,
scores, it's like,
yeah,
okay, was he really guarding him the whole possession, like traditionally, like we're used to?
yeah.
That's a good. As far as the series, I'm curious to see, what happens. It's not. I don't think if the Heat lose, I think it will be because the Celtics play up to the standards that everybody's expected them to play to coming into this series. Um, I do think the Heat should be the favorites because the Heat have the better coach. They have the more consistent star player, and
Yeah,
I think that he's got the pulse of his others right now,
yeah,
and
for sure.
they're able to take it on the road and also take it at home as well. So they can play in any environment, and I think that's something that's a dangerous recipe in
You
the
know,
playoffs.
I think I agree with everything you said. I just want to add this, okay, before we go to the next topic. I think that the Boston Celtics do not know how to win together. Because
Mm,
whenever they get pushed, whenever this like when they're ahead, just like anybody, when anyone's ahead, everyone's the greatest, right? It's all good, and there's nothing to worry about. Marcus Smart's DPOIs and et cetera, right? But when you are with your back against the wall, when the Celtics have had their backs against the wall, I've seen the same thing from them. I see them get careless with the ball. I've seen Jason Tatum and even Jalen Brown.
mhm.
Jalen Brown, you're not escaping this. Even him get like they can't dribble no more. Like these guys turn into freaking
They looking rough.
seventh graders that just had a freaking a growth spurt and they don't know how to walk in their damn bodies or their shoes. So it tells me that something's going on, whether they have some form of anxiety or whatever the case may be. But whenever their back's against the wall and these high pressure moments,
Mhm.
they crumble apart. For instance, example, last year in the first round of the playoffs against the New Jersey, I'm dating myself right now, against the Brooklyn Nets,
Mhm.
they were able to freaking roll over them in 4 games. They were, like, oh yeah, we're the talk of the town, all this stuff, and yada 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 yada, blah 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 blah. And then they crumble. They literally they can't dribble the ball. Jalen Brown shooting like 2 for 17 from three. They're not even like playing consistent great defense because they switch so much. But you
Mhm.
would think if you have a freaking defensive player of the year on your damn team, like Gary Payton his ass. Like, no, you don't move.
Right.
Stay there. What the fuck is the point? It's not like you're like a big guy where it's like, okay, you can move. Like a freaking like a Scottie Pippen type or LeBron James in his prime defensive years, where it's like, okay, it doesn't matter because you're still gonna be there and you could make up for any misstep. You're good. Marcus Smart is not. He was 6'3",
Yeah.
and
Yeah. I would say so.
he's not a young stud anymore. So he shouldn't be switching. It's like, no, you stay on this person and stay there. Show us why the fuck you got the damn trophy last year for Defensive Player of the Year. So I think the Celtics should blow it up after the season. Throw some more shit at the wall, see what sticks, because what they have has not worked and is not going to work.
Yeah, unless they change that lineup up, I think the point you make about Marcus Smart, I think is profound. I think that experiment has really, I think it came to an end a couple years ago. I think because of this whole defensive player of the year, which I still don't agree with it.
For real, for real.
The advanced analytics can say all they want. I mean, yes, usually I'm a huge proponent of them, but you come on now, like that. There's a reason why very few point guard slash shooting guards win that award. So
Mhm.
it's just him as the starter is yes. Does he have his moments where he's able to make timely shots? Yes, but outside of that, his value is not all the way there. He's like I would say he's a more hyped up version of Pat Beverly,
Agreed,
like a bigger version of Pat, like where it's like,
agreed.
oh, like his wildliness makes it
Yeah,
seem like he's playing great defense,
yeah,
but in all actuality, and maybe he gets a steal here or there, you know what I'm saying, like a key strip or maybe a block here or there, but outside of that, he's not really affecting
yeah.
any, you
Exactly.
know.
Like Russell Westbrook said a few years ago. He was like, Patrick Beverly got y'all fooled.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? Same thing. Like Marcus Smart has a lot. I was talking to somebody at my job the other day, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Marcus Smart." This. When I said what I said about Marcus Smart, what I just said to you, I said the same thing. And that person was like, "What? Like Marcus Smart?" I'm like, "What the hell? Not no. Marcus Smart's got to go, or he's got to
Yeah.
sit his ass on the bench. He could be a great six man
Yeah.
because he'll be a 3 and D off the bench. He has that starter experience. He's played in big games. He'd be a great six man. I could see him going, leaving Boston, and winning a championship as a six man off the bench.
I mean, for God's sakes, they're not even paying him like a starting point guard. You know what I mean? Like that should tell you as enough as that you need to know. You know what I mean? They play him where it's like, okay, you can play relatively starter minutes, but are you a starting point guard? Nah, that's a
No,
stretch. Like
no.
that's where I'm, because you know what I mean, his the disconnect from when he got drafted, it was to say like, yeah, I mean, he could spell you as a point guard, but that's not his main role. And I think the
No.
Celtics have bought into him, being a playmaker. So they utilize him down the stretch as such, but it's just not really been.
He's
He's not.
never been that person. He's never been a playmaker. He's never been a point
No,
guard.
no.
They
Well,
just have they have him
they
at point guard because he's 6'3".
and
That's it.
they're bolstering his, the confidence that he has, because I mean, that's something that, they're emboldening him to do so, but it's not for the people that are watching conventionally, it's very clear he's not the answer. Malcolm Brogdon, I thought, was going to be the medicine,
He was supposed to
um
be.
and because he's getting paid like the medicine, but yet, they're utilizing him as
Yeah.
the firepower
Their
for the.
roles are reversed. If they had their roles reversed, the Celtics are probably they probably wouldn't be in this position, and they might even be geared to win this series. Um, Malcolm Brogdon, you don't go 50-40-90 in the National Basketball Association and then should be relegated to the goddamn bench over a goddamn Marcus Smart. Honestly, I think someone should be fired over that decision. Someone should be fired over that decision alone.
Yeah.
Alone.
Whew. Whew, the hot ones.
No, no. What's your thought on that?
What, that they should be fired?
Someone should be fired over that. You
Yeah, I
pay
mean,
this guy that money. You bring what did you bring him in for to back up Marcus Smart? We saw what the
yeah,
fuck happened last year with Marcus Smart. We
you know
saw that.
what? You know what it is? I think they brought him in to be a 30-minute plus, guy off the bench. But it's just, and they're thinking like, oh, we can use them in tandem and maybe have Jason Tatum play the small four. I just don't think, long term, that Smart is the guy that's going to get you over the hump as a starter down the stretch in
Yeah,
four corner
but you
situations. I
don't
don't
think that.
know. I
I
don't
don't
know.
think that.
But I don't know who's putting that idea into, what's his name said, into, wow, I
Joe
always forget.
Mazzulla.
Joe Mazzulla. Yeah, because he doesn't look like a Joe Mazzulla.
No, he doesn't. He looks like a fucking Tyreek.
Yeah,
No, I'm joking. But
correct.
anyway,
He looks like a Jaleel White. But anyway, yeah. So when I think about, yeah, my bad, yeah. Oh my God. So when I think about it, when you ask the question, who should somebody get fired? That's a good one. I just wouldn't know who to pinpoint the blame. I feel like Joe Mazzulla is working with what he's got.
I
Um,
think it would be Joe Mazzulla. Because I think that I don't think Joe Mazzulla was like well, first of all, I know he wasn't the person that was like, let's bring in Malcolm Brogdon. But the front office, whoever the GM, the president of basketball operations. Who it's not Danny Ainge anymore, right? Who the fuck is it?
No,
Oh, it's
it's
the old
Brad
coach, the
Stevens.
old coach.
Brad Stevens.
Exactly, Brad Stevens.
Yes.
Brad, and that he was just coaching a couple years ago. So yes, he brought in the right guy, and the coach didn't utilize him properly. Do I
Yeah.
think that if Brad Stevens was still coaching, and Brad Stevens brought him in, that Brad Stevens would have been starting him? Yes, I do think so. I do want to say this though.
I don't know. I feel like there's a love affair. I think there's a love affair though. I think that's the
Yes, yeah,
problem.
that's what I'm getting. I'm
Yeah.
getting there.
Oh,
I
okay.
think that because Marcus Smart is like a homegrown kind of, all of that is quote unquote difficult to do it. But honestly, anyone that's ever been in any type of management position knows that when it comes to stuff like that, you just gotta rip the band-aid off. You have to diagnose it early and say, okay, this is what needs to be done, and you have to rip the band-aid off. Because if you don't, you're never gonna do it, and you're gonna just continue to suffer due to circumstances. So I agree with you. I do believe that because he's homegrown, they drafted him. He's been there ever since then, and especially after he won a Defense Player of the Year award. But you
Yeah.
know what? That's why again you rip that shit off. You say, look, you got yours. Now we got to get ours
Mm.
because you've been getting yours this whole time, bro. You're
Yeah.
on a storied franchise, and we haven't
Yeah.
won a championship yet. You know what I'm saying? We even got rid of Paul Pierce ass, and he gave us one.
Yeah.
So
It's a tough one. It's a
there's
tough one.
standards. There's standards.
Yeah. No, this is it's a tough one. I mean, I don't know if it's I don't know if it's a thing like it's ripping the bench. I think that if you told Marcus Smart you're going to be coming off the bench, I believe that he would do it. Do I think that he believes he's a starter? Sure. I think a lot of guys in the NBA believe that they're starters if you just give them starter minutes.
Hmm.
So I know obviously he'll have a little bit of put. I'm not saying he's going to go there and be like, oh yeah, like yay, because he's going to probably think that I could do more. That would be my thing if I was to play psychologist. But I do think that it's what, to your point about a new coach, that's the thing. I think if Ime Adoka was still there,
Oh
I
yeah,
think that he would have made that shift. I just think that with Joe Mazzulla being a new coach and then having to shift that dynamic by making such a change, even though it would go well for their, I believe for the both of us believe for their end goal. I don't know how well it would do, for his for the locker room. I don't know.
well,
So
word of advice to all the brothers out there. Hey, when it comes to an instance where you're at an impasse and you need to make a quote unquote big decision, do what you know to be correct, and
mm,
go forward from there. Because when you don't, you wind up like a Joe Mazzulla. After tomorrow night, when they lose actually in Boston, um, I'm sure he's going to be thinking to himself, I probably should have utilized Malcolm Brogdon.
change the
Uh,
starting lineup up. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, like like Marcus Smart isn't giving you anything.
I would like to see it at least. That's the only thing. I'm with you on that. No, as far as like, damn, like at least try it out. Like, trot it out. Show that you're making an adjustment, and that's where I can't sit here and be like, maybe letting him go even only after a year of even just naming him the head coach going forward. It just there's little things like this where it's like, dude, at least make an adjustment.
Yeah,
We had a whole conversation about Darvin Ham, should they let him go and all that. And my retort was like, yo, he made a ton of like starter adjustments,
yeah,
assignment adjustments, and things of
yeah,
that nature.
yeah,
At least trot it out there and see
yeah.
what the heck sticks. He hasn't even trotted it out. As far as I've seen, I haven't watched the full game because we either had like a podcast or
Yeah.
something going on. I haven't seen him make that type of change to the
I've
lineup.
seen him make changes that were uh, that hurt his team, not giving Robert Williams a lot of minutes instead of giving it to Al Horford instead of Robert Williams.
Mm,
Um, I think that Robert Williams is huge for him. I think Robert Williams is like a Kevon Looney.
yes, more
Some
athletic version.
some nights with Kevon Looney and Robert Williams, what they'll provide a team. Some nights it'll be glaring on the box score. You'll see it like, damn, this guy had 20 fucking rebounds. And other nights it won't be, but their impact was still there. When you look at the advanced metrics, their defensive rating, oh man, it's unbelievable. But I
Hmm.
think that him going for Al Horford instead of Robert Williams, I think that's because he's looking at it from a uh, skewed, but a very uh, single-minded dimension where it's like, oh, Al Horford can shoot the three and is more offensive, has more offensive potential than a Robert Williams. And even with
Hmm.
that, I would have to counter that and say Robert Williams. And I make the same argument when it comes to Julius Randle and Obi Toppin. I'd rather have Obi Toppin. Obi Toppin can shoot. Julius Randle can shoot. Obi Toppin plays above the rim. Julius Randle does not. So now, in instances where we got people, in a fast break scenario, Obi Toppin, that's an easy bucket. Throw it up, crowds excited. The other team has to call timeout. You get a
Hmm.
Julius Randle, he's not even filling the lane because he
Yeah.
knows he's not going to go up. He's going to stop at the top of the key, or he's going to fucking try to float to the elbow three area.
Hmm.
So I think small things like that do a lot for a team, especially like I think every team that's trying to make a real push for a championship, you need at least one player that's like a high flyer that can play above the rim. You,
Yeah.
you need
High
you need
motor.
you need it.
You need a high motor, athletic. You know what I'm saying? Power forward, center that can that can affect shots and run the and fill up the lanes.
You
For
need it.
sure. That can run the
Uh,
floor.
yeah,
Um, Yeah. Okay. So guys, yeah, tune in. I believe I don't think it's today. I
tomorrow,
believe the,
right?
the next game should be
Tomorrow.
tomorrow if they stay on schedule. So tune into that. I believe it should be a good one. They should be at the Celtics. I think Game 5 will be in Boston. So it should be a good one. All right. Next topic for the night. We got a cryptic tweet. Right. Just recently, John Morant released a cryptic tweet. I want to show you guys that tweet. So give me a second while I pull it up. Hopefully, we don't have no fuck stuff with this whole internet. Okay, give me a second. Let's play it and let's get our thoughts on what the hell is going on with John Morant. I guess there was no music. So, guys, as you can see, he's got his family. He's holding, I believe, his daughter. And then he says bye. All right. I don't know why there wasn't any music. Um, but yeah, so that is the video with John Morant. That John Morant released on his, I believe his, what was it, his IG or Twitter? It must have been IG. Yes. Oh, sorry. It says IG story. Sorry. So released this on his IG story, and as a result, they had to send the police over to his establishment, to his home, for a welfare check to make sure everything was copacetic, which is pretty standard based upon the case of events that have taken place in this young man's life over the last couple of weeks so far, and the cockamamie sort of behavior, right? I'm guessing you got a chance to see this story and whatnot. And
Yes.
what are your thoughts on what the hell is going on with this young man?
Um, huh. I saw the story and I'm thinking, well, I want to treat it serious because whenever there's like a potential threat to a person's safety and well-being, obviously it should be taken serious. But with that being said, I saw it as like a cry for help,
Hmm.
and also I see it as a I'll just say this. I'm just gonna keep it 100. John Morant to me, I believe, is starting to because Nike pulled the shoe. Is starting to see the repercussions of his actions,
Hmm.
and you know he's starting to lose things and lose control. And I think he's starting to see how real life can be.
Hmm.
And I think that he'll bounce back because most people do. But I believe that everything that's happening right now is deserved. I know there's a bunch of people, especially on my social media, talking about, oh, it ain't right, because he's black and this is something. No, it is not. No, it's
Hmm.
not. It's not like he had his own gun shooting in his own range or some range or whatever. No, like, admittedly, it wasn't his gun. Number one. Number two, He's in a car in a club and just brandishing the fucking gun like that's cool. Who does that? I mean, saying like rappers do that, but they do it. They do it. Rappers don't even just do that. They do it in music videos. So even they have the sense to know like there's a time and a place.
Right.
So you do all that. You sit down with the commissioner. You're like, hey, he acts like he's so contrite. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. That's not who I am. I'm gonna show everybody who the real John Moran is. And then right after the season, you do the shit again. You do it again. So again, like I made it very clear, and people say I'm being overly critical. No, he should be suspended the whole season. And hey, if he gets, look, Nike dropped Kyrie for fucking less,
Yeah.
for less. So yeah, he probably. I'm not gonna say that he should be dropped, but I mean, based off the precedent that Nike set, yeah, he should be dropped. And if he does get dropped, again, I have no sympathy at all for that.
Right.
Look, this channel is called The Truth Media Podcast. It's about the truth, and the truth of the matter is, quote unquote, black young men, black boys, black men. You have to start to carry yourself with a certain level of etiquette and poise,
Mm-hmm.
and stoicism. You don't have to be all this and that. If you want to do all that, John Morant, go uh, request to get traded to Portland, start rapping with Damian Lillard, and then retire. And then you could do all the music videos you want. You can do all the music videos you want with all the guns, waving that you want. You know what I'm saying? But if you're not gonna do that, and you want to keep making this money, generational money that's changed your family's life, then you know what? Like Laura Ingram said, shut the fuck up and dribble. Put the gun down and dribble.
Ugh.
I've heard media pundits, quote unquote NBA analysts, John Morant should have a gun because this and that and the third. But first of all, I think anybody knows that you got money, yeah, you should have a gun. Not even just money. I think every man should have a
Mm-hmm.
gun. You should. There's no reason not to. But that does not mean that you need to be just brandishing it in a fucking nightclub or a strip club or wherever the fuck you was at, whatever they want to call it. So when I see these pundits like, oh, he should have a gun. It's not about whether he has a gun or not. It's about being responsible with it. A
Mm-hmm.
gun is a lethal weapon. You're a role model. Whether you ask for it or not. A lot of kids look up to these people. That's why I have a lot of respect for Charles Barkley. Hey, I'm nobody's role model. Your father should be a role model. I totally agree. But hey, but with that being said, we understand that in this day and age, in this society, kids are going to look up to athletes. Period. So John Morant, hey, when the money's coming in, you're all good and stuff like that, right? And but when they start pulling those checks, now you want to be like, oh well, hey, like I said, I have no sympathy for it. If he's thinking about doing something to harm himself, then I'm just gonna look at him as even less than, because it's not even so much that you're an NBA player, you have your mother and your father, but you have a fucking daughter. At the end of the day, you still gonna get paid a lot of money to play in the fucking NBA. And even if not, you can go to fucking Taiwan, China, whatever, and still get paid, you know what I'm saying, to play basketball for the next 10 plus years. So if you're contemplating suicide or whatever, and again, that's nothing to joke about, nothing to joke about. But if you're contemplating any of that, or if you act on any of that, hey man, look, I'm gonna look at you at like even less. And you know what? A word of advice to you: you're probably not gonna see this, John Morant, because we don't get the buzz like that because niggas ain't liking, sharing, subscribing like I keep telling them to do. But anyway, if you see this video, John Morant, before it's too late, do yourself a favor. Stay low key. Do what you gotta do on your own time. You don't gotta live for the camera. You got a daughter. You have your mother and father. Honor them. Honor God. No matter what mistakes you make, you're still here, therefore you get to correct them. Only when you're gone, there's nothing that you can do. But you're still here. You're still breathing. Go forward and make the right decisions for you and your family.
Yeah, no, that's really well said. I mean, I don't know, because I come from, I'm coming from Nigeria. It's really, when it comes to this mental health conversation, The only people I really feel for are the daughter. I feel for the family that's in a sort of a whirlwind with this young man's actions. When it comes to him, I mean, look, man, there's kids in Africa right now that are wishing that they could, cash a check, um, with that type of money on it and create that type of wealth for their family. So for me, seeing this, it's a cry for attention. It's a cry for help, as you mentioned. I think you eloquently put it, that he's crying for help. Sorry, he's the world around him is crashing. He's watching as the what's that thing called, the sort of the fruit from all of his labor, his hard work, and things of that nature, right? Because he wasn't even a highly touted, before he started making a splash at Murray State. He wasn't really even a highly touted recruited player. I think he was only like a 3 star, if that, three, or barely a 4 star coming out of high school, coming out of Virginia.
Hmm.
And so, he's now had this meteoric rise to one of the faces of the league. And through his own actions, not even as like, his friends are doing fuck shit in the club and then he's just assimilated with, I'm sorry, affiliated. It's no, it's all of his own. It's all of his own accord, right? Holding a gun up to your head, right? Doing this, even if the gun is loaded or not, fucking around, doing, stupid fuck shit like that. I just I'm hard pressed to wonder where the hell your mind goes when $200 million guaranteed plus is sitting in your lap, and your thought for a Sunday, Friday, Saturday afternoon during with a day drive with your boys is to bump some NBA young boy and put a gun to your head and fuck around and act like you live a certain life when you're going to be driving to your $5 million mansion,
Yep.
um, that you bought for, sorry, you bought out mansions upon a whole block for your mom, your dad, and your sister, and for yourself, right? So you're clearly not living that mafioso life.
Hmm.
Uh, and so that to me is something that's really bothersome about this whole saga with John Morant. I would say that, I think I saw somebody mention, take a break, my ninja, take a break from social media. And maybe hopefully this buy is him, parting ways with IG, parting ways with Twitter, parting ways with all these different toxic avenues by which, I mean, sorry, these avenues by which can become toxic if your head's not in the right place. And I think that that's something he needs to really focus on, because you're the point about, Adam Silver. You sat down. That's It's kind of becoming sociopathic, where you sit down and have a conversation with the guy that literally dangles your future in a league that is giving you
Yeah.
all of this light, and
Yep.
you look him in the eye as a man, right? You look him in the eye as a man and tell him, yeah, I'm after this, I've learned my lesson. I can't ever see myself doing this again. And
Hmm.
not even 3 months later, you are in on a Sunday car ride with your boys, and you're waving said gun around, probably the same gun that was in the video in the club, and it's like you had it sitting there ready for social media with
Yep.
the tag under it saying IG. So I, I mean, God bless to this young man. I don't want, suicide is never the answer. Um, and I would hope that that's not the route that he's going to be taking. And I'm glad they did a welfare check to make sure that he was okay. And, I really do wish the best for him and his family. And that young girl that you guys see in that picture, I mean, she deserves the best from this man. And, and for him to just watch as the opportunity for her to live a fruitful life, starts to wash down the drain. It just, to me, just reeks of selfishness, and I for one can't co-sign. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that whole situation. Straight bothers me.
Yeah. Like I said, man, it's ultimately that cry for help, that's what kind of frustrates me.
Hmm.
The attention grab, not so much the cry for help, the attention grabbing.
Yeah.
Because it's whack, man. It's very childish and immature. Now, obviously, he is young, and like you said, his
Hmm.
life did do a lot of changing in a very small,
Right.
window.
Like a
So
whole. Yep.
oh yeah, and then obviously, like, because with the whole Zion going down, it only bolstered him.
Correct.
So and his profile. So, but what it says is that who do you have in your corner?
Mm.
Now this is a man, because again, we got to be truthful, right? This is a man that has. his mother and his father. He grew up in that home,
Right.
and
Yep.
by the pure optics of everything, prior to all of these incidences, or we would say, he's successful. He's trending successfully, and to which he still is. Right, the potential is definitely still there.
Correct.
Um, but why is he doing all this? And I can tell you is one thing. I don't know his father. I'm sure his father did a decent job, I guess you could say, to to keep the family unit together and then be there for his son. But I know that Heather T. Morant goes to many of the Grizzlies games, whether it's home or away,
Yep.
which is a great thing. But why is your son doing this? Now, when I watch and I look at T and see how he's dressed, is
Yeah, that's a good one.
I wouldn't call it anything modest. I would say that he's dressed in a way that you know reflects that
Like his
of
son.
the quote unquote culture. Like T is
Yeah.
a grown man. He
Yeah.
dresses like he's in the NBA right alongside of his son.
Correct.
So, again, I want to point this out for this, fellas. It's one thing to be there, and remaining of your children's lives and everything like that. But you have to understand that as a man and as a father, the role that you have and the role that you play, not play, the role that you're in, uh, isn't the same and should never be confused as being the same or on the same level of that of your any of your children, whether it's your son or your daughter. You have to be, when they as they grow and mature, you are supposed to grow and mature. You have to put those things behind and continue to grow. And again, I don't. This is just for me looking at him
Yep.
um, at games and stuff like that. Okay, that's just what it's from. So I don't need the comments. Oh, team rent. Look, miss me with all that. So when I look at a LeVar Ball, he got three sons,
Hmm.
two in the NBA, and the one that didn't make it to the NBA because of the whole China thing.
Yeah.
Man, kids shoplift all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sitting here trying to like say, oh,
Say
it is. No, no, no.
obviously you moved it for sure.
Because obviously, what he did was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And he damn sure should have known. Don't do it over here in China. But you know, kids that is something that's going to happen. It's happening right now. You know what I'm saying? So that's the only blemish that LeVar Ball has on his record as a father, and that's with three kids in the NBA. So, and again, when I look at LeVar Ball, he's not out there dressed like a T Morant. He's not out there trying to scuffle with Shannon Sharp on courtside. He's not. He's not out there with freaking designer shades and
Mm.
and looking like he's young Dolph's cousin. You
Dead.
know what I'm saying? I'm being serious. So
Not
you
not
know,
young dudes, but yeah, because he did die, so this is awkward.
yeah. So that's my take on it. Again, that's from just what I saw, and obviously as more unravels, I could revisit it. But as of this moment, I'm looking at his father.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. To me, that is the biggest indictment. I think that it's. I'm sorry. I've seen the way that John Morant talks about his father, and for me, like I don't try to like do the whole like diving in the one's head. But from what he said with regards to him and his father's dynamic, he's calling his dad, "That's my best friend." Like I already knew the trail was going to run hot at some point. Like you watch their dynamic when they're around each other, right? He's treating them as if it's one of his homeboys,
Hmm.
right? And so it gets to a point where the one that went from being the provider, right? Because this is the dynamic that I don't think a lot of people talk about when people have a meteoric climb in socioeconomic status. When you go from being the one that's being taken care of to the one that's taking care of people,
Hmm.
right? That dynamic has a real potential to sort of shift the pendulum with regards to who's the one calling the shots. And so, am I sitting here saying that T Moran has lost his grip of his family structure? I can't all the way say this, right? Because at the end of the day, his son has gotten into the upper echelon of the sport that they've been working on since he was in as a kid.
Mhm.
But it does go to say that there's something that is running amiss with regards to their dynamic and their communication, because there's no reason why. Yes, if this happens one time, you chalk it up. You're young, you're acting stupid, you're in the middle of the club, you're drinking, you just throwing a gun out. But after all of the backlash, and I'm sure they had a conversation, and yet he's doing this again. There's just it's just I don't see this happening in families like Brant Hill families, with the way his dad had his and the successful nature by which their family exuded. And it's not to say that everybody needs to be sort of on some Ivy League ho hum measure to be able to have a sound family structure. But it,
Mhm.
it does go to show that when you make sure you maintain, I'm the father. Like my dad says this all the time. He's like, Michael, I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter what you're doing. I'm the father, you're the son. That will never change. Okay. So for as long as I live, for as long as you live, you will always be the son and I will always be the father. So there's nothing you can tell me different. And I'll just be sitting there. I'm like, well, that's one of those where it's like you drop the anvil and you can't really talk back. You can't really say nothing after that. It's like, well, Ninja, you ain't lying. You know what I'm saying? I can't fight that. And so I think a lot of this spells, I see the situation and it spells a lot more of what's going on in the America's family dynamics as of today, where I see so many of these moms talking about, oh, you got to be your kid's friend, you got to be their best friend, you got to be this, you got to be that, you got to be, that's the only way they're going to trust you. It's like, no, no, no. No, if anything, that's how they take advantage of you and do the fuck shit that they do and end up in the dire straits that they end up in. So I think that that is a dynamic that is possibly at play here, where the father is becoming more of a friend than a father to his son, and so therefore there's a new voice that needs to be I don't know if it's a new voice, but there a change in the tone of voice needs to be made. Otherwise, this young man's going to end up in a very uh, you know terrible situation, and that's the last thing any of us want, because he really is a bright spot for this league, and I would hate to see something happen to him because he's just not listening, right? Because I don't know. I can't chalk it up to him being young anymore, man. It just has to come a point where you see this in front of you and you go. I mean, you have a kid too. It's one thing if you didn't have children. You have a kid. Like at some point or another, something's got to change, right? Otherwise, the world will change it for you. And as we know, the world's a cold, dark place, and the last thing you want to do is leave it up to the world to push your destiny. So yeah, so that I guess that's my last take on that. I really do hope the best for his family, and John Morant.
Agreed.
All right, guys. So we're at the 52-minute mark. We went through everything for today. I know we have the LeBron retirement. Well, the people on the airwaves talking about, was he, cryptically saying he's going to retire. I mean, I think that's just a quick one. I don't believe LeBron's going to retire anytime soon, with
No.
regards to at least the next year or two. I don't even think it's because of the son. I just think that he's still too tapped in. Um, in as regard to his mental, as far as preparation and getting his body prepared for what comes with the season. I don't know if he's hit that. I don't think he's hit that wall yet, right? Um, and so I think that's my take on that whole shit.
I'll say this, and people might say it's a cop out. I don't think he will retire, but if he did, I would not be surprised. I think that LeBron is at a stage where he could say, I've accomplished all that I can.
Yep.
What will another championship really do for me at this point? It's not really going to move it up. Some people automatically think that he's the greatest of all time already,
Hmm.
and those that don't, that championship isn't going to sway them any which way.
Correct.
He already surpassed Kareem. His one son is about to go to college. The other one's in high school, and he still has his young daughter. I think so. Again, I don't think he will, but if he does, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, Carmelo Anthony just retired. Carmelo Anthony's going to be watching his son. If anyone had the time to watch Carmelo Anthony's retirement video that he did, it was very well put together, and I like that he tied his son into it, basically a passing of the torch. So, you know, again, I wouldn't be surprised. Now, what would I like to see LeBron do? I would like to see LeBron retire. Because again, it's not like Shaq where it's like you leaving a lot on the goddamn table. I think LeBron put it all out there. What he did is what he did. Kind of like a Russell Westbrook. When he retires, no one's gonna be like, oh well, woulda, coulda, he left a lot
Correct.
out. No, no, we all know like, hey, that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris Paul, no, that's it. Certain players, they when they're done, that's it. Even Carmelo Anthony, that's it. Maybe if he would have been Chris Bosh instead of if he would have went instead of Chris Bosh, then yeah, he'd have a championship. But again, how much greater would that have made Carmelo as an NBA player?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, in terms of like the annals, he's already a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Hmm.
So I would like to see LeBron retire. I would like to see LeBron, you know, be with his family because again, the one's going to college, one's in high school. Help them get to the next level. Um, because you're LeBron James, you're still going to have pull. You don't have to be in the league to get pull for them.
Yeah. No, I think that's a great point. I didn't even I wasn't even gonna go deep into, I guess, this topic, but um, yeah, no, I think that if he does retire, I mean, I think that it's at the behoovement of, I think it will be because of his family, right, and the journey that they're on. I mean, I know his youngest daughter is playing basketball as we speak, and she's getting addicted to the game just like her older brothers are as well. So based upon the reports that she knows love is Savannah, I believe did like a small little interview, and she was talking about how what's her name, Ziri or something like that. Is forgot the daughter's name, but it looks like she's caught the bug, right? The basketball bug, where she wants to play and train and do all these other things. So yeah, I think that I think he wins either way. I think that's the beauty of sort of his position is that if you want to push the needle, see what the heck they do, and I think that's why he made the comments he made, because it's like, hey, look, we see you guys, Palenka, you did your best, you did your thing, but obviously these are not those guys, right, to get me there. So if we're not going to do that, um, then hey, do I really need to take this journey out for another year and a half, right? I
Yeah,
don't know. I don't know if it's worth it for my body and to end up, God forbid, hurting myself long term where I can't even play with my kids,
yeah.
right? Yeah, so I'm with you. I think that's going to be an interesting conversation going into the off season and seeing what he does. I feel like that's going to be one of those Tom Brady, like I think what's his name,
Oh
JP might
yeah.
have been speaking about on First Take. It's going to be really like that Tom Brady saga where it's like every season afterwards, it's like, is this the one?
Yep.
Is this the one? I just think the difference is going to be once LeBron retires, he's that's going to be it. He's not coming back.
Yeah, no, he's not coming back.
Ain't no way.
No
Ain't
one's
no
coming
way, boy.
The
back.
first ever Euro step.
Oh shit, stop sharing.
What's going on? What's going on?
Yeah, sorry about that. Shut that off. Sorry. What was I saying? Yeah. So guys, thank you guys so much for joining us. As we mentioned, stay tuned to the rest of the NBA playoffs. There's some exciting ball still left, and I really do. I wasn't gonna. I was, the hate in me was not. I don't know if it's gonna allow for me to watch the Nuggets for whoever they play next, but I think for the sake of how much I like the Nuggets, I probably will watch the finals, and I hope you guys do too, regardless of who beat your team, right? But I think that's it for me. Obviously, follow us on our Instagram page at the truth the with two e's
Well,
underscore
hold on, hold
truth
on, hold on.
media.
Well, we should give our predictions now because a week from now the finals would already have started.
Yes, that is true. That is true. Before we do that, yes, follow us on our IG at the THEE underscore truth media. Okay, guys. And subscribe. Subscribe. I see you beating your meat there in the back again, man. I'm after a while, you're the lotion that you're using is just not going to be doing the trick, bro. And I just really, I'm talking to you, not you in the back, man. Holding the subscribe button in your hand hostage. Just click the goddamn button. It's free, and you allow for us to continue this good blessing of a work. All right. So as my co-host mentioned, we do have to make our predictions for the next round.
I
Based on what
got
team we're
the
doing.
Heat in six.
Ooh. I'm gonna take. You know what? I'm gonna take the Nuggets. Right. I'm gonna take the Nuggets in. I'm gonna take the Nuggets in six. I'm gonna take the Nuggets in six. I don't think they have. I don't think they have enough. I don't think they have enough to fend. I think the games will be close, but I don't think they'll have enough, especially with Jokic playing the way he's playing.
I don't think that Pat Riley and Spoelstra is gonna allow Jokic to not work. So
Okay.
if they do win, I'm if the Nuggets do win, I'm predicting like a Wilt Chamberlain esque numbers from Yoke, where it's like, yo, he has arrived
Hmm.
type. You know what I'm saying?
Shows out. Yeah.
Yeah, like he would have to, because I don't see a Spoelstra or Pat Riley allowing him, like, knowing he's the guy to come out and do all that. So if they win, it's going to be all because of him. I don't see Aaron Gordon for fucking 6 games, or for 4 games getting it done. I don't see Michael Porter Jr. for 4 games getting it done. I don't see Bruce Brown being allowed to do what he was doing. I think that these the Cosby kids, as I call them, I
Yeah.
think they're hungry, that they're thirsty, they're starved, whatever you want to call it, and they're going to come out there and they're going to run. Not so much for money, but because all of them literally have a legit monkey on their goddamn shoulder. Like like they were all counted out, all of them. Even Jimmy Butler, all of them were counted out, and they all gravitate towards that. So they're
Yep.
playing for something that's internal,
Yeah.
that's deep, deep internal. So when it comes to that, that the intensity is going to be there, especially defensively. And again, couple that with Eric Spoelstra and Pat Riley, you already know they're going to be in great condition. I think, like you said before, I think Eric Spoelstra is a better coach.
Hmm.
Not to say that Mike Malone's a slouch, but Eric Spoelstra, I think, is actually one of the most underrated coaches of all time,
Yeah.
mainly because he coached LeBron James for those seasons. Because he does not get spoken about nearly as much as he should.
Crazy.
Doesn't get the recognition that he should.
Yeah.
So I think that this is another opportunity for him to get his flowers. So again, I got him in 6. Um, and like I said, if the Nuggets win, I won't be mad because we're gonna see Shannon Sharp would say a virtuoso,
Hmm.
a virtuoso.
Hmm.
You saw that right there, Skip. You saw that, Skip.
The
That's a virtuoso.
Joker. The
Yeah,
Joker.
yeah.
The Joker did his thing. Skip. 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 Skip.
Skip's gonna be like the nectar of the gods, diet
Yeah.
Mountain Dew.
Yeah, he's like,
Put two
I
cases on it. Yeah.
exactly. He's gonna be like, he's like, actually, I'm not gonna. He's like, I'm telling you right now. Somebody across from me owes me is about 80 cases of due.
Yo,
Since the last time we spoke, because he took the other team. But hey, I'm just gonna keep on stacking my due, and he'll do this with the papers and whatnot. He'll be like, I'm just gonna keep on stacking my due, okay? And yeah, just keep on moving. Skip, 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 skip. First of all, we can't say that bet was made in good faith. Okay,
yo.
we knew that was what was going to happen. We both made the bet. Yeah,
My
yeah,
issue, my one issue with them in that show, is that they gotta stop what to do, or they gotta have an episode every now and again where they actually pay up.
I know. Yeah,
Because
I
it's
know.
like this running thing, but okay. Like you said,
Right.
80. I'm thinking like, nigga, this has got to be in the hundreds. They've been doing this
Yeah,
shit for years,
I know.
every 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Saying for
And
50 weeks.
every like random ass episode, you'll see Shannon Sharp with like a 2 liter bottle of fucking. I didn't even know they made this 2 liter bottle of Diet Mountain Dew, and he's fucking necking it like, ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, Skip. I see why you drink that thing every morning, Skip. It tastes like some good old. He's like, I told you, Shannon. It's the nectar of the
The
gods.
nectar of the
The
gods.
nectar of the
Yeah.
gods.
Yeah,
Okay,
they got to do something about that. They got to start
I don't
paying
drink
up.
anything else.
I want to see the IG
Yeah,
live
that'd
where
be such a dope
where he
episode.
delivers it to Skip's house, like a fucking
Yo,
pallet full of fucking.
Yo, that'd be so dope. Yeah, I
No,
don't know
they
what's
should
keeping
do
them
it.
from
They
doing
should
that.
do it.
Probably don't want to show Skip's house for it because somebody will figure out the address and
That's
that'll be it
true.
for him.
Look, they can rent a house, man. Come on, you know how it is.
That's true. You could just do it in front of the studio. You could
Yeah,
just bring a
yeah,
big ass
yeah.
Pepsi truck in front of the studio
In
and do
front
it
of the
that way.
studio.
Yeah. All
Yep.
right. Now let's make the case for that. We gotta do an episode on because there's so many rifts between I don't say rifts, but there's so many back and forths between new media and old media, like the First Takes and the Draymonds and the JJ Reddicks. So I know there's some good clips out there as far as the disdain that the JJ Reddicks of the world have for like the Stephen A. Smiths and how they go about covering the stick going on the sports. I don't think we've ever done a video on new media versus old media in sports. I think that'd be a good one.
Yeah, probably because I don't buy into that. It's just branding.
Well, no, of course, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's still what they are calling it. So, I mean, the title of the episode will be that, but then you can dive into what your thoughts are on the saga. But anywho, that's for another day, guys. Thank you so much for
Oh,
joining us. For those of you that will be not that haven't weren't able to join us on the line, but were able to tune in once this video releases. We really do appreciate you guys. You've gotten us to we are at 140. Oh, we are at 144 subscribers as of today, the 24th of May. And it's really thanks to you guys for helping propel us. As you know, the goal is 500, and we will not stop for anything less. And I really do appreciate the love y'all have shown so far. All right. Anything before I close this out?
nah, yo, peace out.
All right. Thank you so much, y'all. We look forward to seeing you soon.
Shadow on the track. Let's get it. I'm a rock star type nigga, fucks bad bitches. See me in the drop cause I stay